Shalom, shalom, and Shabbat shalom to everyone who is watching this. This is Rabbi Moshe Otero. And one of the questions that was asked, and I touched on this morning in my Spanish 15-minute plug, as it were, on Facebook in Spanish in Los Caminos, was the question whether it'd be better for Gentiles to convert to Judaism or remain Gentiles, or even that, remain a Noahide. Noahide are those who basically keep the 7 universal laws and have a limited as to the depth and area which they can be able to learn Torah study according to the laws of a Noahide. Now, one of the things I mentioned, and I quoted Rabbi Jacob Emden, who happened to be a 17th century Talmudist, incredible mind, and he says that while a Noahide is keeping the 7 universal laws and able to keep all the universal laws of the Noahide, nevertheless, every day that passes by, he or she is sinfully in a status for not converting over to Judaism. In other words, according to this great mind of the 17th century, which I don't think we have many like him today, very few, he basically says to the Noahide fellows, who people who are basically only keeping 7 or 33, depending how you look at it, all the different variations of the the different categories of law, that is better for a Noahide to convert than to remain a Noahide. This is something that usually is disdained by many groups that are organizing Noahide groups in congregation, because they want to make something similar to that of what caused the Christian church to arise in the first century. Interesting enough, Rabbi Jacob Emden is the same person who said that even the follower of that Jesus had created a double blessing in this world, allowing people to be able to learn Torah and things that basically was considered for Gentiles completely usher, forbidden. As a matter of fact, that you'll find within the laws of Noahide today, that a Noahide, a Gentile, learning Torah and going in depth into Torah learning is prohibited. There's even a penalty of death, and this is what YAACOV Emden meant when he said what he said. Even if mistakenly they leave off the basic 7 universal laws in those sections of the Torah in which they can learn, they can go really deep into it, yet by leaving off just for a few areas, they are liable for basically taking upon themselves laws that are not really given to them, because the Torah was given to the children of Israel as its inheritance. Thus we have a real big problem. Do we allow these communities of Noahides to continue learning Torah? They're in a state of sinfulness, and they are committing errors on a continuous basis, even with rabbis instructing them and teaching them, because you don't know what they're going to be doing apart from their learning Torah. And this is why Rabbi Jacob Emden, in his wonderful wisdoms, encourages not only Gentiles to convert, he also encourages that while the Noahide is still practicing the Noahide laws, he is in a constant state of sinfulness, because he has not yet converted to Judaism. So what's the goal of the Noahide movement? It's only a step before Judaism and converting to Judaism, and this is how within the Mosaic law it's looked at. If you're not going to convert, then repudiate Judaism and just keep the 7 universal laws and make no decision to move forward in your learning. Stay stuck. Stay in a stagnant water of indifference of learning. But see, I know many of the Noahides who've communicated with me, and these are people that have a heart to want to embrace not only the 7 universal laws, they want to embrace the whole Torah, the whole learning, which makes it a problem. And this is why you have so many rabbis that are making a lot of money. My good friend Asher Mehta talks about the conversion ching-ching machine. Well, you also have a Noahide money machine that's being used for the same purpose, to basically charge non-Jews a whole bunch of money just so that the rabbi can be able to give them their legal counsel, their legal opinions on things, and make a lot of money. Even in countries, unbelievable, in countries that, according to the Takanut of Rabbi Sutton, you're not supposed to do any conversions. By the way, that Takanut no longer exists, so therefore it can be done. Conversions can be done in Argentina, but most of the rabbis there in Argentina won't touch that with a 10-foot pole because of the community has become so anti-conversionary. And that's happening all throughout Latin America, like if you've seen my video on Rabbi Derry, who basically is stopping converts from coming into Israel, and he's proposing a law, a rule, to keep all converts, even those recognized by the Rabbanut. So it's no longer an issue if it's recognized or not recognized. He wants to get them all out. That's a typical position of a Syrian Sephardi prime minister, but rather yet Syrian mindset of not recognizing any converts or any returnees. And that's what's causing a lot of problems in Israel right now with the interior ministry that's ahead of Shas. And unfortunately, with all due respect, he is completely wrong. He is doing something that's going to create a big problem for Israel. It's defeating the purpose of having Israel grow. It's defeating the purpose of what Halakha talks about. And unfortunately, it's going to be the shot in the leg that will bring under the Shah's party, without a doubt. Unfortunately, many other Sephardic rabbis are against what he has said and stated, and we may see some legal action in the Israeli secular Supreme Court, and hope they will, and I'm saying this very cautiously, and hope that he loses. And hope and pray that he loses for the benefit of all those people who are part of emerging Jewish communities, which I am one who I encourage to be part of, to join emerging Jewish communities if there's none near you. Because the bottom line is that Judaism is growing, Hashem is creating this, He's doing it, and they're going to find themselves fighting against Borei Olam. And they find themselves in that situation. This is why a lot of things that you perhaps don't see in the news in Israel is taking place behind the scene. Our God is a good God, but our God also chastises and rebukes with the purpose of trying to bring us back into the fold in the proper way. So I encourage all of the Noahide groups throughout the United States and throughout the world, Latin America included, it's time for conversion. If you need help and assistance, we now have a framework in which to work with, and no matter where you're at, whether you're here in Florida, whether you're here in the United States or throughout the world, I can help you, we can help you, and get at least a halakhic conversion done, so that way you are not completely prohibited in learning Torah. That's the main thing. You become a Jew, you're opened up completely to learning Torah with no negation or punishment as a result. This is Rabbi Moshe Terah. I want to wish you and yours a wonderful Shabbat Shalom.